Hmm. I don't even know where I see when people are joining.
So on your channel, there is Rehi Starsky live, and there's even 2 viewers watching us right now.
What the fuck? What the hell? I mean, not.
This is so
Okay.
cool. Hey, Larry. Hey, the Canadian DT, Polar, Perlan, and Kaltenberg, and everybody else. Hello, hello, my dear friends. It's so cool that you are here. And I think that I can also see it in the chat there, bro.
Oh, so if I do this, I can put them on the screen. Okay.
Nice, nice. Listen, this is like high technologies. I never thought this could be possible in like 2025, but apparently we can do that. Oh my God.
Okay, that's so nice. I'm just trying to see if that chat I see on Riverside is in a very big delay with the actual YouTube chats. Because I don't know that. Well, I can only put them on the screen when I see them on Riverside. If it's a delay, then it's a delay. I can still see some chats. What I would really like if there's a super chat, I don't know how will that play out in Riverside. I hope I don't miss any of them, but
Aaron did it in 87, which makes us basically like 2 losers. And by the way, Arthur, I can see that in the chat. Someone says that your volume. Aha, Magdad says that your volume is kind of low.
Okay. I'll check it out.
Oh my God, we have David from Hawaii. Can you believe this?
You guys know each other already, I guess.
This is so cool. I mean, what time is it in Hawaii right now?
It's gazillion night something, I don't know.
I guess. JT from New York, USA. Hello, hello. I know that it's either morning or like early afternoon, but Hawaii. Oh my God. How's the weather is there in Hawaii? This is amazing. You know, I enjoy using high tech, like modern technologies. It's just so awesome.
I'm trying to get my mic to work better.
Uh-huh. Magdad, 7 in the morning in Hawaii. You have my complete respect. Complete respect, because the last time I tried to wake up at 7 a.m., I failed dramatically. Actually, I wanted to do that today because today I had a naive dream of taking just a small break from the work and take my lady to the zoo. And we were lucky to get there around 1 p.m. because I fell asleep very, very late. Yeah. Anyways, guys, we have something special today. Today we have König Pilsner here on my end. Yeah, and it's alcohol free, but I don't care. And Arthur, what do you have there?
I have a Leffe Blonde, but I have actually a big issue because I have no idea how to heighten my microphone levels. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't find anything here. I'm not good with that kind of stuff. So can you guys hear me all good right now? I'm Starsky, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you perfectly well.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe you know what? Maybe I could like lower my sound just a bit,
Yeah, so
like
everybody can just
this.
tone it up. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and everybody can just turn it up, so we will equalize everything. Aaron says Arthur got a hangover.
No, I don't.
Do you?
No? What are you talking about?
Polar says Arthur just scream.
Okay, I'll just Arthur is low. Crystal clear. Arthur's volume is fine. I yeah, I hear you both. I guess we're just gonna go with it. You know, that's how it's gonna be.
Yeah,
Uh,
sounds great. Lonely Fans says good choice about the Leffe. And by the way, Leffe, is it Estonian beer? Like, is it locally produced?
no, I'm pretty sure it's Belgian or German. I think
Ah,
it's Belgian, and it's a darker version of Leffe Blonde. It's the Bruin, so it's very dark. But yeah, I'm trying to do. Do you guys see the text on the screen if I put it here? Did you get your aim up, Arthur? You go shoot your gun. I did. We went shooting yesterday actually, and it's the second time I've shot my personal pistol at all. I got a pistol permit about 2 years ago, and I shot it only 2 times, so not that good, honestly. Do you have a gun permit, Starsky?
I have gun permit. I have um, a AR-15, and I have a CZ-527 sniper rifle. CZ-527 is .223 RAM, which is basically 556. Very good, very nice thing. And AR-15 is 22 caliber. It's 22 long rifle. It's kind of meh, but on the other hand, it's good for practicing, and it's good for target shooting because I can buy kilograms of ammo back in Ukraine, of course. Like I didn't take all my stuff with me to Germany, but back in Ukraine, I could literally burn hundreds of ammo because 22 long rifle doesn't cost anything at all.
22 is such a fun thing to shoot. Yeah, you know you're shooting for free pretty much, and you can do any kind of stupid stuff with it. Put anything up, have fun, just shoot, blast it away. It's a lot of fun. I got to shoot it
Absolutely.
when we in 24 January we did the Canada tour, and there was this one guy who had a farm in near Ontario somewhere. He had a massive amount of 22 automatic some kind of rifles, like plenty of them. So all of us, like seven of us, got infinity ammo and 22s and blast whichever way you want. It was a lot of fun.
We were shooting with my friend before the full-scale invasion. He had AR-15 556. Basically, 223 is 5.56. That's basically the same. I know that if you have a military, oh my God, military, if you have an issued, right, issued rifle, then you can load 223 into rifle that shoots 556, but not vice versa for some reason. I don't know why. So he had that one, and I brought mine AR-15. Actually, it's made by Walther, as far as I remember, or Uma Rex. Anyways, and because 556 back then was so expensive, he basically shot like several magazines, and I was shooting packs. I was puking with those ammo with those rounds because they're just so cheap. At the same time, do you know which is the deadliest round in the United States?
Deadliest, I would think some kind of a hollow point, big caliber, semi-automatic stuff. I would guess.
I will rephrase. Which ammo kills most people in the United States every year?
Statistically,
Yeah.
it cannot be a 22. I would say 9 millimeter. Yeah.
Is 22, bro.
No way. Really?
Yeah, 22 caliber kills more people in the United States every year than 9 millimeter, and more than any other round. And the reason for that is because it's just so popular. It's cheap, it's widespread. There's a lot of different fuck ups with weapons using those ammo, of course, because it's so available. And there was a question regarding the bullpup. I used I used to shoot Fort 224 and 221 back in Ukraine, And I kind of like bullpup. Like I like the idea. I like the idea that you can hold it with one hand. You can have all the unnecessary shit in this rifle, like here on your stock, resting on your shoulder. And I like the idea that you can have like very, very long barrel, or preserve the length of your barrel and use it in confined environments, like in bunkers, buildings, tiny rooms and stuff like that. Because we were training to clear the apartment buildings, like Soviet Khrushchevkas, all those tiny, tiny houses where apartment houses where people lived. And we did those with AK-74s. So the corridor is like this wide. Try to maneuver there using like AK-74. And we were learning that because we understood that we would unlikely have some kind of other weapon to use in during our deployments. And we were trying to use like those long AK-74s in those environments. I like things that are compact, tiny. That's why I enjoy bullpup systems very much. But at the same time, unfortunately, they are not really good. Like compared to AK-74, that is a rifle that I used my whole life. I hate it so much, but because I use it so well, I would unlikely change it to something else, except for AR-15 probably.
I mean, when we were serving, I was conscript. We had a weapon that they no longer use. It's in reserve, but we had the G3 or the AK4. It's
They are
quite long,
big.
very
Yeah.
big, very heavy, full metal, and I mean, for shorter guys, it was quite difficult to use. It was very heavy, 20 rounds in the magazine, plus the caliber is massive. And inside a building, I mean, you don't shoot through a wall, you punch it through a wall and then you shoot. It's just like a metal uh, baseball bat almost or something like that. It's massive. But now they use the Rehi, or I don't know how to say it in English, but we have a new weapon now, which is 5.56 NATO standard. I was one of the last ones to use the G3, and since I am massive, massively huge, as you know, um, I really loved that weapon, but everybody hated it. Such a heavy metal weapon. Yeah.
Oh my God. It weighs something like 5 kilo, I think. 4 or 5 kilo.
Yeah, and
Oh
I
my
had like
God.
I communications. I had the Falcon 2 American radio. It's not the Falcon 3, which is like this big. It's like this
Mhm.
massive in the back. That was 10 kilos plus the AK-4, and then you gotta carry some extra ammo. I was like company leader's communication. You carry his ammo also. It was no light infantry. It was very heavy infantry, just carrying around the company leader stuff. So yeah, I was so pissed at him.
Can you explain me this one? What is the concept of light infantry in your army?
In Estonia, before the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, we had a very much tactics like guerrilla tactics. Everybody was trained almost in guerrilla tactics in forest warfare. The idea was that the Russians are going to penetrate the first defensive line into the forests of Estonia and the bogs and everything. And then we have a bunch of Estonian infantry, mostly without armor, ready to fight without any connection to the central military. And they can just like do ambushes and shoot and run and harass enough for the NATO armies to arrive. That doctrine is, of course, very much changed now. Now it's like the wall of very first meter we're gonna fight back. But I was still trained according to the old doctrine, which was a light infantry guerrilla warfare pretty much. You're on your own as an infantryman and you carry everything in your back and there's no connection, no logistics or food. You just gotta survive. Like that's how we were trained. But now it's different. Now it's more like we're gonna build out a wall on the Baltics eastern side and nothing gets through. It's a bit different.
That's interesting because, for example, my brigade initially, the one that the legendary Hostomel brigade. And by the way, before I start talking about it, my dear friends, this is the very first podcast of Arthur, I believe. Is it right?
Live, yes. I've never done a live stream with anybody, so this is the very first time, yeah.
This is the very first time. Literally, Arthur is losing his virginity with me
Yeah,
right now online. and
That's the
and
title of it. Yeah.
yeah, and he doesn't
With
regret
more.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Cheers.
Also, the brigade you mentioned, I mean, it was the fourth, it was the Rubish Brigade, right?
Rubish. Yeah,
Right. This was the time when we met. I think I was in my first time in Ukraine, and I knew we were going to Hostomel with the guys. We were delivering some trucks, and I kind of was expecting to meet you there, but suddenly we go and nobody knows nothing. Everybody's quite nervous, and I see Starsky. We're like old buddies. Like, hey, what's up, bro? We had done one podcast before, and everybody was like, "What the hell is going on? How do these guys know each other?" But yeah, I remember that's the first time we met.
I think I didn't expect even to see you there.
For was it a full surprise for you?
I think it was because I was like, yeah, the guys arrive and some of them mentions the guys from Leap 99.
Yeah.
They mentioned to me that there will be some bloggers. There will be very, very uh, popular and famous blogger from Estonia. I'm like, no shit. And then I see you walking out a bus, and to me it was like seeing and I don't know a real alien, like walking out a flying saucer. To me, it was a big surprise actually because it was a full year of a full-scale invasion, and my eighth probably or ninth year in service, and I wasn't traveling much, and of course I would not expect to see my friends from abroad, so it was an amazing surprise to me. Yeah, but speaking of, like, returning to our question, um, my brigade, which is 4th Operative Brigade of National Guard, Rubizh, it was initially known before it acquired its full, like, now a modern name. It was known as Light Infantry Brigade. And I started to getting more acquainted with the NATO doctrine. Um, so light infantry is usually a battalion or something like that in a brigade. And despite the name infantry, basically those guys carry much more on themselves. Because again, you are like partisan, like guerrilla, like sabotage, like reconnaissance. You basically getting deployed deep, like in the enemy territory or like in the avant-garde of the attack, and you rely on yourself for a while before the reinforcement arrives. And we were trained like that initially, but then we were renamed and reformed into a um, good professional mechanized brigade. You know, literally just good mechanized brigade.
I remember learning about it before we made a podcast that the Rubish Brigade was one of the first ones that was fully equipped with the Western tech, I think. Am I wrong with this?
Not like fully, we had a lot of interesting things, of course. So we had some of the Western vehicles. Generally speaking, going to nuke space. um, that would be interesting. Generally speaking, we had better supplies compared to other brigades. Our brigade, and I'm talking about National Guard specifically, some of the brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine, our brigade had good supply. I cannot say that we were the best because Azov were the best. Azov were crowdfunded basically, and some others. Our brigade was like at the level of Azov because Azov was completely like people's brigade. Our brigade was the state's attempt of creating something like Azov only by states, by government, right?
Hmm.
So we had a lot of very interesting equipment. We had buggies with Stugnas installed on top of them, so we could literally deploy on a buggy, destroy a bunch of Russian tanks from a distance that is larger than the distance that allows them to shoot back, and quickly GTFO from there. We had a lot of interesting equipment, but I cannot say that all of it was Western. We had UR-15 rifles, and UR-15 is basically Ukrainian copy paste of AR-15. I think it's licensed. We had Tavor, basically, like Israeli Tavor, only what is in Ukraine is called Fort 221 and 224, using 545 millimeter rounds. And we had a bunch of old shit as well, but we were gradually getting rid of the old shit. Gradually, AKTK, which is a tactical version of AK-74, was replacing the AK-74 in our brigade. We also had a bunch of AR-15s. We had sniper rifles called UR-10, which is basically a stoner rifle, like basically the same, only Ukrainian license. And of course, in the first 2 years of war, we were supplied with things like javelins. Later, we received M113s and things like that. So, not like we were completely, westernized. However, year 2016, our good friends from 1st Californian Battalion of the National Guard of the United States decided to, adopt us, and they sent us a lot of stuff. I have pictures somewhere, like my 1st infantry company. We were standing like there wearing like our back then it was maroon beret, but we changed it to national blue beret of National Guard of Ukraine, because like when you wear red beret, that was kind of still continuing tradition of like Soviet times, so we decided to get rid of that shit.
Yeah.
And we didn't regret it. But back then, you could see us like standing there wearing red berets, wearing tactical ice, those tactical glasses, and wearing woodland camo, gifted to us by our friends from the 1st Californian. Woodland camo also, I forgot the name of the boots.
Desert? Were they desert color? Like khaki color?
Desert, yeah, desert.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I remember first time visiting, the first experience I got with the vehicle was the M1113. 113, right? We got to drive it, and it's like what, 70-year-old vehicle. So I would maybe ask you actually, how can they use such vehicles effectively in battle? I mean, we see Russians using these golf cars and scooters and everything. Then you have this almost a century-old vehicle, and they have been sent, I think, a few thousand to Ukrainian army. Have you ever seen them actually being used like to make an assault?
I know that M113s were mostly used to deliver stuff and remove stuff. Of course, that is like their main goal. You have a heavy machine gun installed on this stuff. I know that, for example, on Ukrainian armored vehicle called Varta, which also serves the same purpose, only it's a wheeled transport, not tracked transport. We have also heavy machine guns. We have mount to attach either like your PK machine gun, or which is a battalion level infantry machine gun, or you can install some kind of heavy machine gun on the same mount, or you can install the ATGM. And use it from like literally from the same mount. I'm not sure if it's the case with M113. I don't know, but I know that there's a heavy machine gun, I believe 50 cal, and basically not much to use in combat. Like BTR-3 has much bigger kitchen, and BTR-3 can also bring deliver personnel to the front line and back. But I know that M113s were used massively in places like Rubizhne, Bakhmut, those places, those areas. And
Mm-hmm.
the one that you saw back in Hostomel, and it was so interesting, guys. Arthur arrived to Hostomel, and we're like showing him around, and our base is completely like destroyed. There is
Oh, it was all rubble everywhere. Yeah.
yeah, there was rubble. There were remains of Russian tanks. There were remains of Russian Kamazes because they used our base, and they parked everything where we would park our vehicles. That is why several artillery strikes stripped Russian invaders of their vehicles easily. And in the middle of all that, like there is like T-72 burned completely. There's its turret, and here in the middle of that, we're standing with Arthur and the guys and talking about the M13. And that M13 had battle scars actually because it arrived from the front and it was repaired. And you probably, I don't remember if you saw it, but it had scars left by the fragments, by shell fragments all over it.
I still remember, and so it's a weird memory, but you showing us, it was really dark actually, you showing us Pucha for the first time and talking about it, showing all the photos and everything. It was before the memorial was put up. It was cold and everything, and then the mood was so gloomy and bad. And then you said, okay, now let's go to McDonald's. And they just,
Yeah,
we all went to McDonald's to eat
it
the Pucha.
was it
Yeah.
it was so good. It was so good. And generally, guys, McDonald's in Ukraine is
It's
I
okay.
can see yeah, I can see big difference, for example, with McDonald's in Germany, for example. Not like they're bad, but in Ukraine, it's a legit place for to have a lunch with your family. Literally, it's clean, it's good. KFC and McDonald's in Ukraine are generally extremely clean, extremely good, and the service is very, very fast. 5 minutes, you have everything, and
But
five
connected
minutes is long.
to that, like Pucha story, that was the first mission I ever did in Ukraine. Then was the last one, the eighth one, which was 2024 summer, and that was also the honeymoon with my wife, which is very strange. But yes, we did spend the honeymoon in Ukraine of 2 weeks. It was beautiful and perfect, like 37 degrees and sun and beautiful. But on the third day, we were going on that Bucha Irpin tour. I wanted her to see everything I have seen and what you showed me, basically. I wanted her to see the same thing. Unfortunately, you couldn't give us a tour. We were going anyway, and on halfway there, I mean, she's a bit scared anyway because there had been missile attacks and everything. We see this massive smoke column coming from behind us from Kiev, and we go to the news, and it was the Okhmatit Children's Hospital at that moment when me and Annabel were driving to Bucha. So we found out about it. I called my friend Jasper, who was at the epicenter. It was really bad. And then we go to Bucha and learn about all of that. And for her, it was like a very dark day. And we went to McDonald's
Yeah,
after. So
yeah. This is something that lets you, you know, if you feel depressed or stressed, if you feel bad, basically, the only thing that always helps you is some good food. I lost several friends in my brigade that I was really close with. And every single time, like, we have this tradition, I'm sure that you have it too, when you mourn a person, for example, after ninth day since the death, and then after 40th day, you just gather with friends and family and relatives and have a drink and talk. And instead of that, I would just go somewhere alone and like watch our pictures together and things like that, and have something like sushi, for example. McDonald's was also a good thing because you like our physical body, like physically, we are deeply connected with our psychological state. When you feel bad physically, you will inevitably feel bad psychologically, and vice versa. When you have a toothache and it is irritating, you cannot eat properly, and you only think about it, you become irritating and annoying yourself. Um, Same if you feel horrible. For example, if you're depressed, it results in you either losing sleep or sleeping too much, losing weight or having no appetite and things like that. So when you feel depressed, if you satisfy your body somehow, for example, through good food, uh, it's like primitive, but it always works. It always helps you to improve your psychological condition. And
Yeah.
in Bucha, that McDonald's was actually perfectly timed because um, we didn't have McDonald's in Ukraine for a whole year since the
No.
beginning of the war. It was insane. KFC worked. That is when I switched from like mostly eating at McDonald's to mostly eating KFC. KFC worked, and KFC always worked as a bomb shelter, by the way. So Ukrainian KFC is like a combat, forged KFC. And McDonald's opened only after a year, and I remember it was such a party because, again, you go to Bucha. Bucha, after the Russian invasion of Kiev Oblast and all the massacre there, it was, first of all, it was mostly deserted, not a lot of people. It was early spring, gray soil, naked trees, and it was so depressing. Dark skies, it's cold, it's depressing, and it's scary. And when you go, for example, to that place where the grave was found, and you see people somewhere, and that place was open to everybody, so you could go there, see yourself, so you could bring journalists. It was open to everybody, right? And people that you would see on the streets, they had their eyes literally empty, like washed with horror, I would say. And I remember my first trip in summer to Bucha. After all that massacre, I went to Bucha, and I was literally walking down the street, and I see the ensemble of the National Guard. Those guys like playing the
Mm-hmm.
trumpets, and like the ensemble,
Yeah.
the orchestra of the National Guard, literally just standing in the middle of the street and playing for citizens for no reason, just to raise their mood. And it was so unbelievable to me because, again, those guys are highly demanded, right? Like the orchestra of the National Guard of Ukraine, every single day you have some kind of um, award ritual, or I don't know, a funeral or things like that. So they are occupied every single day, and I see them in Bucha literally playing for people for no reason, just to raise their mood a bit, just to make them feel better. It was such a fantastic picture. People were trying to do all they could to be somehow useful to um, entertain them at least somehow. And then I saw life returning back to Bucha gradually. People started coming back from close locations like Kiev and Kiev Oblast and like Zhytomyr, those places. And then I saw more and more people returning. Of course, I think that probably every citizen in Bucha lost somebody because the amount of the massacre there was absolutely enormous, and also their apartments were looted because Russians were there for a month, literally snatching all they could find.
I went into those apartments. We filmed in there actually also, and you see these. It's such a weird thing to see that Russian soldier has to live somewhere, so they go into the apartment, and the first thing they do is rip the toilets. They break it off the ground and they ship it to Russia, and then shit on the ground for 15 days. They like if you are a smart person, you want to take the turret. Okay, use it for 15 days and then take it. They took it first and shat on the ground where they slept. It was such a hard thing for me to understand how like this is what an animal, even not an animal, would do that. Who would do that? And I saw that in those apartments. I remember.
Calling Russians animals is insulting animals, actually. Bob from
Yeah.
Ohio asks, Arthur asks him what he does now while he's not in the military. So currently I'm running the Propaganda Study Institute. That is a institution that studies how Russian propaganda works. And we are looking for a way to disrupt it, expose it, and it's extremely important. If you live in the United States, you probably understand why it's important. So this is something that I do at this very moment with my team. And by the way, Arthur is also how to call it, recruited.
Yeah.
Yes, so soon we will have some extremely interesting project together.
Yeah. Yeah. What I wanted to talk about before, even a little bit, I mean, in 2014 when it all began. I think you joined a little bit after, right? But in Estonia right now, we have that time before 2014 in Ukraine. Nothing has happened. Everybody has lived for 30 years, no war, no occupation, and people my age. Speak to my friends also sometimes, and I hear this mindset of defeatism, and I hear I think it's Kremlin's information operation for the last 30 years that has worked. They tell me that you cannot win the Russian army. You have to run. We have to leave Estonia. Oh, what if this and this happen? And then they show me a video from the Ukrainian war where the Russians do something horrible. And all of these are perfectly working Russian information warfare points that defeat a person before the war starts. And I see that in Estonia sometimes. I'm like, hey, nobody's gonna do that to you if you have a weapon and you can do something about it. But the people, like some of my friends, are like, we gotta leave. I want to call them out, honestly. I want to say, hey, stand up for yourself, stand up for your country, stand up for something. Because this defeatism, some, like, not all, but I hear it sometimes right now. People are afraid and they go to this defeatism, like, let's not fight, let's just run away from it. How do you, like, I know you have had friends who don't want to go to fight, right? Like, how do you relate to it?
Well, first of all, those guys who are serving now, I have big respect to them. And the reason they are able to serve and fight and defend our country is literally because back in 2014-15, people like me decided that fuck good jobs, fuck our like degrees and stuff. We gotta defend our country. And we went there and we served, someone served 8 years. I don't know many volunteers from those times who actually served as long as I did,
Mm,
because I spent almost 10 years in the army. And while we were there, a lot of my friends, for example, they had chance to travel around the world with their families, learn something, earn money, have good life, have fun, basically. And those who were smarter, they also spent this time learning about weapons, about what to do in case of war and things like that. So we kind of backed them up a bit. I feel extremely happy about this. We kind of backed them up, so they had some time to prepare. And uh, first thing that I want to debunk about Russia is that Russia can be defeated. Ukraine stopped Russia. In 2022, Ukraine stopped Russia when everybody, 99% of all the experts were saying that no, like we have no chance. 3 months we were fighting alone. We were fighting without any supplies, without any land lease, without anything, because land lease, actually 2 months, I'm lying here, 2 months, land lease was signed on May 2022. So basically, March and April, and that time before the first things started arriving to Ukraine, we fought alone. We were alone completely. So Ukraine stopped Russia, and Russia is or was considered the world's second baddest army, which is not the case as we can see. It sucks. It's atrocious. It's stupid. It's bad. It kills people. It strikes children's hospitals, but it can be stopped. Before that, Chechen people also stopped Russia. And just so people could understand watching us right now, the Chechen Republic of Ichkeria was about the size of Kiev Oblast. It wasn't a big country. It was probably like Kiev Oblast, about that. And first war Russians also lost. And before that, we have this beautiful place of Afghanistan. I think nobody conquered Afghanistan ever.
Yeah, the British
Uh,
Empire even failed on it
yeah,
long time.
so Afghanistan is an extremely scary place in terms of, there's literally nothing there. If you go there trying to like acquire something, of course, besides the fields of drugs, but besides that, there's literally nothing. There's rocks and death if you go there as an invader. Like, that's it. So Russia can be defeated, turns out. The most important thing that you should have in order to defeat Russia is literally like probably some courage, probably some balls, probably some uh, belief, self-belief. You gotta believe in yourself, because an army that doesn't believe in itself has never won a single battle. And if you don't believe in yourself, then basically what's the reason to live at all, right? What's the
What's
reason?
yeah? Why do we exist even if you don't like you can say, okay, I want to live, but I don't want to defend my country or my language, my family. But why do you want to live then? What's the purpose if you don't believe in the right of existence? And if I have the right of existence, I want to defend it because I'm worth it. Like, you can go into the psychology of it all, but for me, it really bugs me how people can live this good life without thinking that they maybe have to put up something for it at some point. So like, I have this wonderful life, but I don't want to do anything for it. I don't want to punish the guys who want to take it away from me. I just want to have it. And it really pisses me off because Estonian security is very much connected to how Estonian men feel in their heads when we have to go to the front. I mean, if the guy never runs away, I mean, that position will not be taken. But if I hear it already right now that I want to go to Sweden or Finland or get away, I'm always going to argue these. I have a group of friends like that. I'm always going to argue that you cannot leave. Sweden is in NATO. Finland is in NATO. They're going to send you back. If you want to go, you got to go now. You got to go to South America or South Asia. And there you're a lawless person, a man without a country, basically a criminal, let's be honest, because you left your family and your country. And for me, I have a personal conflict with this right now. It's very hard for me to stay calm when I hear this in Estonia right now, this kind of like mentality that I want to leave, not fight. It really hurts me personally. So
You cannot run away from Earth. Yeah.
no.
It's only one place where we live. I completely agree with you. Russians commit massacres and atrocities. And the only reason why they do that is because people that they commit atrocities against, they cannot fight back. Therefore, if you don't fight back, they will be committing atrocities. Atrocities and massacres and everything else that Russia is proud of, you can 100% expect it if you don't fight. But in the areas where you fought Russians and showed them that they will not go back alive from after encountering you, right? When you showed your strength and you proved that you can defend, those places have never known atrocities and massacres. We're talking about places like Zaporizhia fought back, Kiev fought back, Chernihiv fought back, Sumy, and etc., etc. when you fight back, when you show Russians the strength, which is the only thing they respect and understand, then you will never have any atrocities, mass murder and anything else.
I mean, 1939, we had, I could call it a Estonian dictator because he was elected democratically, but then he changed the system like Hitler. Konstantin Päts, right, Estonian dictator. He had all the power, and then Stalin gave an ultimatum to Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Finland. It was the same ultimatum to four countries. Basically, let us put the Soviet bases in your country, and then no war. It's fine. Don't worry. We put the bases, and then it's okay. Or we destroy everything. Everybody will deport people. And Konstantin Päts, the Estonian dictator, also Latvian and Lithuanian leaders at the time were like, oh my God, we don't want that horrible thing. We better let those bases come in our country. So they let the Soviet troops in, no shots fired, and then began 50 years of Soviet occupation in Estonia. Sorry, it was maybe even 60 years. And you know what? Everybody was deported. Everybody was shot. I mean, my grandfather was 4 years old, a little toddler, when he was put onto the train and put to Siberia. So the thing happens anyway. The Russians threaten you with it, and they do it anyway. But Finnish leader at the time said the same thing. Yeah, we're going to let the bases in. But the Finnish parliament overruled this and decided to go to war. And I cannot say they won the war, but they punched the Russians in the face, and Putin still respects Finland for it. And they had freedom. They had never had the Soviet occupation. We Estonians, we have this guilt now that we gave the country away in 39 without any shots. And still 20,000 people were deported. Although this was not supposed to happen because we gave it to the Russians. Okay, don't do anything bad to us, please. We just let your troops in. Boom, it still happened. So nowadays, if I hear this kind of mindset, okay, maybe we should give it to them because they're so strong. I see the exact same trap, and we're stepping into it exactly the same way. This is why it's my personal mission now to fight and get into an argument with every Estonian I hear to try to respectfully change their mind about their own country.
Absolutely. Which country that was occupied by Russia and still is, which republic occupied by Russia is thriving? Abkhazia? South Ossetia?
No.
Chechnya? Dagestan? Guys, don't have illusions. Look at the countries that were occupied by Western civilization, right? Look at Germany. Look at Japan.
Right?
Yeah.
South Korea.
South Korea, that is something so uncomparable. Look at literally, after this stream is finished, dear viewers, check out Google. Google for Abkhazia, right? Google for South Ossetia. Google for those places. You will be impressed because Abkhazia during the Soviet times, Abkhazia was a Georgian land. And Abkhazia was considered like Miami nowadays. It was considered like Florida, basically. You would go there to have rest with your family and things like that, spend time at the seashore, and it was visited every single year by millions of tourists from all around the Soviet Union, even though life in Soviet Union sucked. But somehow, because Stalin comes from Georgia himself, Georgia was not touched much by Soviet, atrociousness, unlike other countries and republics. So in Georgia, the life was more or less fine. And now Abkhazia is completely abandoned. After Russians snatched it in 1992, Abkhazia is completely abandoned. Those amazing places, those family resorts at the seashore, they look like Pripyat nowadays. They look like Chernobyl because, and I'm not joking, like you can see trees growing on like rooftops of those houses that were abandoned tens and tens of years ago and are not used nowadays. This is not civilization. Look at Tshinval, the South Ossetia that Russians decided to snatch in 2008, again from Georgians. Majority of streets are not, they don't even have asphalt on them. because Russian regime is so good. It cares about its citizens so much. Donetsk, so-called Donetsk People's Republic, where they don't have water since 2022. As soon as they like kinda officially kinda joined the terrorist federation, they don't have water running in their sinks, in their taps since 2022. You can see plenty of videos that are like available nowadays in Telegram channels on YouTube. They have this freaking Coca-Cola coming from their taps. It's not drinkable, of course, but the color is basically the same. This is Russia. Russia doesn't do anything good, but if you don't defend yourself, they will go and snatch everything and they will kill you because Russians are basically terrorists. They are terrorist empire, terrorist empire.
Yeah, and one of the greatest exports, like I hate to do this, but I gotta give it to them. Their propaganda machine and informational operations in the West before they decided to go the hard way, and they used the soft power in the West. The fact that some of my countrymen, fortunately, it's not the majority of some of my countrymen, think that Russia is the greatest army, like the second greatest army in the world right now, that means that the Russians have been very effective in the last 30 years of planting that mindset. Because you don't think that out of thin air. You gotta see it somewhere. You gotta believe it in the computer games, in the movies. That mindset is planted there, and they have done it unfortunately very good. So I think me and you, we gotta dismantle that stuff. And I really take it personally, especially when I hear it from the Estonians. It really hurts me because I identify a lot with my people, and if I hear this kind of mindset, it's like, oh, damn it. It like for me, the strength of my country like lowers a little bit in my mind because of it. So yeah, but I agree. Like if even if you give Russia what they demand, yeah, they take it, and then they kill everybody anyway. Like you cannot win. There's no way to win with them except to fight back, and this is what Ukraine is doing, of course.
Yeah, yeah. Our main task is currently eliminate as much of their personnel as needed to render them unable to continue their advances. And we can do that. We can do that. We produce millions of drones now on an annual basis,
Five
and
million, yeah.
everything is possible. It doesn't matter how big is Russian army, but they can be eliminated. It's a fact, you know. But again, it's so funny to see those characters in the movies, for example. Remember the what was that movie? Snatch, I believe, with my God, with Brad Pitt, who played a like an Irish boxer.
Yeah, yeah. One of
Remember?
his early ones, yeah.
Yeah, and there was this Razor, Boris Razor or something like that. Boris the Cutthroat or whatever, the dude that could not be killed. All those like Russian movies with legendary Russian Spetsnaz that uses like latest technologies and satellites, and they can also shoot mind bullets because not only they're trained, but they also possess like magical powers that literally let them see through walls.
So stupid.
And but it's not stupid because they have it in their culture. They have this like sistema. Sistema is
The martial arts,
internationally,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
international recognized martial arts. They have their offices in like United States. You can go and train with them. And the dude, the leader, their like chief, he's like dude with a beer belly who on a video who shows how to deflect a knife with a beer belly. How fucked up is that? Like literally, I would seriously, I would like to have a 3 minute long, I think 1 minute long would be enough, 1 minute long sparring against this dude with a real knife. Seriously, because I trained with the Blade Brothers in Kiev. Those guys are, we have like a federation of knife combat in Ukraine. And those guys were also training the Ukrainian armed forces and Ukrainian National Guard, I have some really, really kick-ass knife from those guys as well. And I tell you this, 1 minute would be enough to convince everybody that this shit doesn't work. But unfortunately, I don't think that it will ever happen.
Yeah. I think I've seen. I thought it's a joke, but I remember seeing a video when a Russian beer belly guy. Yeah, there's like a slow motion attack. He tries to demonstrate something with some kind of dance moves or something. Every part of his body was moving. Yet this beer belly was like weird to watch. He was deflecting it with his like beer belly. Yeah, like pushing the knife away. I thought it's a joke, but now that you say this, actually, maybe it's a reality there. Yeah.
Oh my God. They have like two biggest comedians in the martial arts genre. One is so-called Chharek, the style of eagle and snake. Like the dude looks as if he had like problems with alcohol. Actually, he looks like
I'm
a
googling him right now. I've seen his videos. He's the
y-
guy with
yeah.
around.
Oh yeah. That one, and also
Oh my god.
so there is also Kadachnikov. We call them Skazachnikov. This dude, he's the one who designed the contactless combat, and there's a lot of those adepts of contactless combat. What can I say? The cringiest one is the Russian combat using the Orthodox cross. I showed it multiple times. Like literally, there's a guy, and there's like a bunch of his like adepts right in front of him, and he's like walking around. Again, he also has like beer belly, beard, of course, like Russian man, and he's like, well, my sensei taught me that, and I'm a person of science, I don't believe that crap initially, but he told me this is how your grandparents fought, and he started like, you know, uh, shooting those mind bullets at me using that cross. And the dude literally on the video starts like destroying his adepts in the gym using that cross like on a distance. And there are even some women there in the gym, and they're like, oh my god, this is so cool. I never expected to see that.
I've
Yeah.
seen these videos and I always think I've seen the sensei stuff. Some of them are from China and they do that's bullshit also, but I've seen it in Russians also. And I always think, do these guys have to like talk to every one of their students before, okay, when I do this, you just pretend that you're affected by it, or does it actually work like mass hype nation? How the hell like they all react as if they're getting hit from these mind bullets? I don't know what's going on there.
There are a couple explanations. Explanation number one is that your teacher, your sensei, actually teaches you how to act, but he does it in less than verbal way. So you know how to act when he like starts destroying you with like his supernatural rays of energy coming from his eyes, and like those fireballs coming from his ass and things like that. uh, but also like literally if you have a bunch of dudes, um, okay, you have a sensei. Okay, let's imagine that we're Russians, right? You have a sensei, and this sensei is gathering like his students. He wants to establish a federation of a contactless combat used by Russian ancestors, Australopithecus, for example. And he wants a federation. Federation is a state-sponsored thing. So he goes like this: okay, Vanya, Petya, Sasha, you will be my students. I will be your sensei. We will establish a federation. They will pay us I don't know, 1 million rubles. You receive like 5%. I receive 10. You go deal, and this is how you do business. And then you open same stuff, for example, in a different country. You have money, come on. You teach people some
Okay,
kind of
it's a
crap.
business, full business, right?
Yeah, there are so many cases when guys would attend those courses, and on those courses they're told, guys, don't use your powers on real people because you will kill them because you possess enormous, powers that are secret actually. And then the guys get into a situation, for example, with a bunch of dudes, a bunch of bullies, or for example, a dude armed with a knife, right? And he decides to use his magical force, but turns out that it doesn't work. It only works in the gym, and he dies. And there were cases in the terrorist federation. I followed some of the channels of like guys. There is one in the United States called Dojo. My God, the guy debunks, like those bullshido masters. And there was a similar dude in Russia. I also followed him, and he confronted actually some of the idiots. And but it's basically a fraud. Like the explanation is very easy. Usually, it's money. Usually he pays the dudes who just fly around like, guys, today we will have a demonstration for those idiots. Like I pay like $50. You go, okay, fine.
I remember watching a few videos. I really love these debunking videos, especially when they're actually physically one v one. You can see the dudes fight, and one of them is doing the mind powers. It was some kind of again this mind power guy sitting on the ground and doing these energy stuff and sitting like that, and the other guy was sitting his hands on the knees, the MMA guy, and there was one two three, okay go, and the MMA guy goes and just starts punching him in the face, and the other guy is like, I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna stop. Just like trying to shoot mind bullets, and it just gets the shit kicked out of him. And it's so satisfying to watch for some reason because it symbolizes for me like the bull crap being demolished. Doesn't
Yeah,
work. Just get
yeah.
punched in the face.
Uh, our viewers may be wondering how to recognize that the martial art is good. Okay. First of all, there is no best martial art. There is no best. You can be an extremely good master, okay, in like karate, right? And you can kick ass. You can destroy like wrestlers. Okay, I'm lying a bit. I think that wrestlers destroy everybody. I love
Yeah,
them and
wrestlers. There's no
and
competition.
hate them at the same guy because I'm not good at wrestling at all. But generally, how to recognize if a martial art is good? Check out if there are contact competitions in this martial arts, like boxing, like karate. Again, there are different types, different schools of karate. Some
Mm-hmm.
is contact less, some is full contact karate. Look at those competitions. Look at the martial arts that Irish bare knuckle. Oh my God, this is my most favorite one. Back in the days, it was like 2005, 2006. We had Fight Club in Kiev. Okay, we had actually two. One Fight Club was Chuck Palahniuk's Fight Club, where guys would literally like gather with a beer and literally beat the living crap out of each other with bare knuckles. And second Fight Club was Fight Club in the Hydro Park. Hydro Park is like this huge open space. It's like an island in the middle of Dnipro, and there's this open air gym for everyone. It's free for everybody, and there are places for fighters. And we would gather there with the guys. Some guys are they have experience in like Muay Thai. Some guys have experience in boxing. Some guys have experience in like wrestling. Some guys are experienced in jiu-jitsu, and we would have sparrings literally to learn something. You're a boxer, okay? Like, okay, I'm a boxer. I don't know shit about fighting wrestlers, right? And let's be honest, 90% cases I'm dead. Like if I meet a good wrestler, like I'm dead. So I want to learn, and we meet with friends and we learn. We try to, again, we're not trying to kill everybody, but we're trying to share our experience in what we're good at, right? And I met a lot of good friends there. I made a lot of good friends there. My craziest sparring was with my friend Buzz. So my weight is 66 kilos back in 2006. His weight is 122.
There's no way. There's no way.
He wasn't really good at boxing, but he was learning the Wing Chun. I'm not sure, like, if you're familiar
Wing
with this.
Chun, the dancing of that kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of those
Uh,
I would like no contact, only dancing sport.
no, no, no.
Oh,
That is like a contact shit. That is like kung fu, bro. Wing
they
Chun
don't
is
know
like
nothing with the legs. Like there's no legs in that at all.
kinda, yeah.
Only
So
hands.
we had the sparring, and like that very day I returned home, and I was dating a lady, and she looks at me and is like, "Oh my God, your whole shirt is like covered in blood." I'm like, "Yeah, it's Buzz blood." She's like, "Oh my God, did you do something to him?" I'm like, "No, he was killing me with, like, I was wearing boxing gloves, legit boxing gloves. He was wearing MMA gloves with,
Mm.
like, that were torn on knuckles, and literally he was literally punching me with knuckles through those gloves, and he destroyed his knuckles against my head, and I was like covered in his blood from his knuckles, and I had like big horns growing on my head because I was, like covering myself all the time, and his punches like came here, and it was real funny. I Before that sparring, I ate like a banana, and I remember first punch in the area of my stomach. That banana literally almost shot out of me, from the other wall. It was bad. It was really bad. But and I have that on a video, by the way. I have that on a video. I will show it on my channel sometime.
Okay, Starsky, I gotta go to the restroom. I think that is flowing through me. I think I'll leave you alone here with the audience. They can abuse you any way they want. Actually, ask very embarrassing questions.
Okay, okay.
Uh,
I will be answering questions. Go take your time, bro. Don't worry.
yeah,
Everything will be under
and
control.
I think I have to go after that. So you gotta make like a killer embarrassing story ending right now.
All right. Mm, so, talking about the martial arts, for some reason I can hear myself.
Oh
Oh
shit.
my God, bro. Yeah, there's echo.
Uh huh. Okay, then
Mm,
I have the
yeah,
earphones.
yeah.
If I leave, you will have
You
the
can
echo. I don't know.
you can just
I
mute
know.
your mic. Yeah.
How about now?
1, 2, 3, 4. You can just mute your mic. Oh, great, great, perfect, perfect. Yeah,
Uh, so I'm just muting myself when I take off the earphones. That works, right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Returning to Buzz, my good buddy. There was a crazy story. It was insane. So this fight club, it actually functioned as a big forum back in those days. 2006, there was not much Facebook, but there were forums, right? And on those forums, we also discussed like when and where are we gonna meet, and we were sharing videos and stuff because every single sparring, we would have like some kind of video, some kind of video made of that. So one time, another adept of Kung Fu school decided to show up in that forum, and I remember he started a verbal fight with Buzz because Buzz was into Kung Fu that was related to Wing Chun, right? And he was into Kung Fu related to some different direction, school, foundation. I don't know. I don't know much about Kung Fu. So the fight, like that whole flame on forum was as big as 70 pages. And I read them all. And literally, it wasn't worth it at all. So in the end, Buzz, my buddy, decided to meet with that guy. His nickname was the Dragon, obviously, right? Buzz meets with that guy. The guy, I well, okay, I don't really judge people, based on their physique when I see them, but that dude would probably not stand a chance against Buzz because Buzz was freaking big. He's like 120 plus. Um, and they decide to have a sparring, but like good full contact sparring. I'm the one recording it. And for some reason, he brought his lawyer to the sparring. I have no idea why. Anyways, so they have sparring, and the whole battle lasts for something like 1 minute. Okay. Um, so 40. I'm telling the story about the sparring my bro Buzz had with another adept of a different kung fu school, right? So the whole battle took like 1 minute. 50 seconds out of those 1 minute, they were literally circling around each other, circling. And then eventually, when Buzz like tried to, like make a small reconnaissance, and he realized that his opponent doesn't react at all, he literally started like punching them and throwing those huge haymakers, and there was nothing coming from kung fu there at all, because those were like haymakers that you can see in every single bar brawl, when drink guys from one city block fight against drink guys from other city block. So he broke his nose really, really bad. And whole beating took like 10 minutes. I didn't see Kung Fu utilized at all. Besides those like they were circling so well. Like this whole scene reminded me, like Enter the Dragon or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Looked amazing, but Buzz's, his name was Vasya, by the way. Vasya's haymaker was deadly not because he knew kung fu, but because Vasya was like 122 kilos. It's like 250 pounds or something, and not all of that weight was like fat. He was just big, and he ran a lot. So he was like big, strong Ukrainian dude. 10 seconds, several haymakers, and the dude's nose said goodbye. And he spent a month like treating his nose, but after that, the coolest, like the ending of the story, again, I have it on my video on my channel. um so the coolest thing about it was that he decided to attend our meetings and learn something, which I think is absolutely amazing. And he spent a lot of different sparrings with us. He punched well, by the way. His like punching power was good, not against Vasya. Vasya didn't care much. Yeah, but in the end, he decided to stick with the guys. Some guys had like master's title of master of sport, right? In boxing, some of them had title of master of sports in like sambo, those things. So he also learned something for himself.
yeah. I've seen it also every time when a no contact sport, magical martial art goes into a full contact. Yeah, Irish bare knuckle. You don't have to any kind of training. You've been on the streets, you've been in some fights, haymakers and calling each other. And that's it, and it will demolish everything. So I'm also like when I was 16, I was really into that Tai Chi stuff. I watched these Chinese movies when these dudes flying around. I was like, wow, I want to do that. I meditated. I forced myself to meditate all the time. Like, I want to go there. And it kind of faded away because I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel like I'm learning anything, and I didn't feel like I could actually use that in any kind of real situation of like diverting anybody with my mind powers. So in the end, now I'm taking boxing classes, just bare old simple boxing classes, and they seem effective as hell.
Oh yeah, I went to the gym when I was a teenager. For the first time, I went to the boxing club in my city district, and I did it not because I considered boxing something like cool or whatever. It's literally because everybody in my sketchy neighborhood were attending boxing. Okay, all the teenagers, for a very simple reason: if you don't attend boxing, they will kill you in school. So I decided that I should do it too, and that is how I got acquainted with this sport. But um, my friend, he's a legendary dude. Another one. His nickname was Magog. Let's call him Magog. Um, so he had a like some kind of dan, or I don't know how they call it in Taekwondo. And he had a very cool stretch. He could do amazing, impressive things with his legs. But the day he decided to become a football hooligan and had his very, very first, like fight wall against the wall against other football hooligans, he told me that, like, I tried to do something, but like eventually I find myself lying on the ground with a broken nose and nothing works. So that is when he decided to literally attend boxing, and he learned a lot at boxing because, like, boxing, you have left hand and right hand, you have like six punches. That's it.
Yeah.
That is easy. And after that, he started attending all kinds of. He took part in all kinds of um, MMA competitions between football hooligans, and he became a freaking champion. And he's not like a bully. He looks like you big time, by the way. He's like an ordinary young man. He has a master's degree in communications, like me, by the way. He studied in the United Kingdom. He comes from Ukraine. He studied in the United Kingdom. He worked in all kinds of communications agencies. We were basically working together. We were like office plankton, but at the same time, the dude outside the office, he was insane. He took part in the bloodiest fights between like football hooligans, and in the end, he found himself studying Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and he says this shit is the best, which again, I cannot call any martial art the best, but that one is good. The difference between boxing and wrestling, okay, the biggest difference is that boxing is easier to understand. Okay, it doesn't require you to have like a lot of tactical thinking. You have six punches, and that's it. Train your technique, train your reaction, and basically that's all. 1 year you can become, if you attend regularly your gym, you can become a good boxer. Okay, and on the streets you can show some really, really good result. In wrestling, it's kind of different because wrestling requires two people. Boxing as well, but generally you can train your technique on your own. Wrestling requires always two people. Also, when you learn wrestling, several months, you will find something extremely interesting. You will find that you suck so bad, that nothing works, that everyone kicks your ass, and you don't understand anything at all. Then, approximately after 6 months, starting from like sixth month of your process of getting your ass kicked in the gym, you gradually start understanding some basic things. And by the end of the first year, you understand that you don't suck much. You still suck, but it's not lethal. And from there, like 2 years, 3 years, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of dedication. But after like 2 years, okay, like 2 year mark is a good time span to say that probably you learned something. And if you continue training from there, you become like a superman. You like I saw wrestlers doing all kinds of crazy shit. I saw a sparring between a master of wrestling and a master of Muay Thai in Kiev, okay, in that hydro park. And the Muay Thai guy, fuck, he was violent. Oh my god, the way he was like kicking and punching that wrestling guy. So in the end, he kicked him, and the wrestler received a fucking enormous kick to his head, and he had like a crack in his skull, so he damaged his eye basically. But despite that, he not like killed, but he won over that Muay Thai dude. I saw the sparring. It was extremely violent, and it finished with this wrestler literally throwing the Muay Thai guy on the ground. It was bad. It like when wrestlers throw people, that is something extremely, extremely bad and horrifying. And he won the match with the knockout. So those guys who have like this tactical thinking, who have skills, who train, they are like I'm saying obvious things, of course, but they will, of course, win in most situations. But again, I don't really believe that it depends on your martial art because I know again a karate guy who also attended the my god, I don't remember how like this full contact karate is called. um you know what I'm saying? They have like sparrings wearing the helmets, like
Yeah.
like the big
Hmm.
helmets. um yeah, so he was good as well. He was also a football hooligan.
But honestly, I think wrestling, I would say, yeah, any kind of flashy sport you see, flashy contact sport, I would say wrestlers mostly would dominate all of them. Even people think, oh, you're a good boxer, like, ah, put Mike Tyson in his prime, right? If he gets a punch in, okay, might him knock him out. But if a wrestler gets you to the ground, whatever you are, you will be like put into a small box. They can do
Yeah.
whatever, they will dominate. So I think wrestling, if a wrestler on the street, if he has some kind of boxing training and a massive amount of wrestling training, there's no match to that. He can throw a punch, but if he goes to the ground, it's done. That's it. But hey,
Wrestlers.
Starsky, yeah,
Yeah.
let's go to the final comments because my wife is actually waiting for me. I am gonna get in trouble a little bit, but let's finish it up with do you have, like, you told me one of your stories when fighting, but I didn't even actually know you did contact sports fighting in that park. Maybe what was like the worst or the most embarrassing one you did?
Like in the real life.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So I went to a computer club. I was 16, and I had long hair.
It's
I
very hard to
was
imagine.
I had long hair. I was a metalhead. I was wearing like leather and shit, and I gave no fuck. So I went to the club, and I was literally I wasn't even playing. I was chatting on a computer. Don't ask me why. So I went out to smoke, and outside there were like gopniks, a lot of gopniks. and the Gopniks decided to fuck with me because I had long hair. I was 16. It was 2001 in Ukraine. Those were dangerous times. So I remember that I had a knife, but I used this knife to open like tin cans, and like it wasn't really good for self-defense. It was tiny, but I still had it. So they decided to drag me out of the club. I decided to stay inside anyways because there were like security, and whatever happens with me in the club is their responsibility generally. Didn't happen because the security was good friend with those Gopniks, unfortunately for me. So the Gopniks decided to start a fight in the club, and like this drunk brawl starts. They threw some punches. I took out the knife and I tried to stab the one in the stomach. I think I barely scratched him because, like, I destroyed his coat, but the knife wasn't good for for those things. Um, so when I tried to stab him, the dude screams, "Fuck! He has a knife! He has a knife!" And all of his friends, like 5 people, come inside the club, and like this beating starts, and then they drag me out of the club, and I even remember that they were jumping on me. I didn't feel pain much. So then they brought me to, like, there was a bench. They put me on this bench. They're like, "Where you come from? Like, what's your neighborhood?" I'm like, "I come from Rimbaza." Rimbaza was my sketchy neighborhood. Everybody in Kiev knows Rimbaza. And they understand that, fuck, okay, let's leave him alone. And one of them is like, "Rimbaza, you motherfucker." And he kicks me in the face. I'm sitting there on the bench. I'm like almost knocked out. And he kicks me in the face. And I'm like flying backwards, and I land on my back. And since the time, you see, like, when you look at my nose, you see that it's not really like
It's a
in the
little bit
center.
going. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the result of that strike to my face. Um, so that was the most embarrassing moment. Therefore, something that you should always remember: if you have knife, have a proper fucking knife, not some freaking toy, and learn how to use it. And maybe you will avoid such situations, or just run.
Very good final words, honestly. Yeah, I mean, if that's the most embarrassing one, that is you fighting against 5 Kopniks who are trying to attack you at once. I mean, it's John Wick stuff. I wouldn't call this embarrassing. It
It,
sounds
it,
more
it, it
heroic.
bro,
Yeah.
it was embarrassing literally, because like in the end they were like jumping on me. I didn't feel pain even, because I think my brain was so much overloaded with beating. So I was just lying on the ground. I saw them like jumping on my body. I didn't feel anything. Yeah, but it was kind of embarrassing, because when you see a man lying on the ground, it's always a very, very embarrassing picture.
I still hear. I'm gonna hear that you stood up to 5 Kopniks at once and you kicked their asses and stuff, John Wick style. Limping around and doing that kind of stuff, and you destroyed a guy's foot with your face. That's really nice. Okay,
Uh,
but Starsky, thank you so much for coming on the channel. It was first live stream with anybody else, and I'm so glad it was you actually. Guys, you were also the very first live stream or broadcast I think I made. Yeah, I think you were the first one actually. We filmed it and I uploaded after it wasn't live, but yeah, it's kind of symbolic actually right now. But yeah, thank you for doing this, and I would love to come on your channel and do that again actually. So
Absolutely,
let's
we gotta do
reschedule.
it. Yeah,
Yeah. And thank you everybody who is watching this. I didn't schedule this, so I guess it was a surprise for you. If you're from America, it's a morning for you, so you're gonna have a wonderful Saturday, I guess. So yeah. Until my next video and until Starsky's next video, Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава. Be safe.
Bye. Yeah, I stopped. Hey, I'm on the live stream. I think stopped. Yeah.